Hi guys, so today my little video is going to be on abuse. Before I continue, if you have triggers based on abuse, please either be very careful while watching this or don't watch it. I'm not going to show anything obviously, but I'm going to talk about it. Mainly emotional and verbal abuse over physical, because I have experienced the first one rather than physical abuse. And I can tell you I'm very thankful for that, and I feel horrible for anyone who has to go through with that. I know what it feels like to be verbally and emotionally abused. I could never imagine what it would be like to physically be abused. But I know if any of you have had either one, it's really bad. It was really bad, or is really bad, and I'm sorry for those situations. I really am. Now, if I will have warnings set up on this, and also where I'm putting it up on Tumblr, I will have warnings and tags for it. But if you happen to find this video and for whatever reason you didn't see the tags were just missed, please be very careful while watching this video, or just don't watch it. I know there will be people who will make fun of you for that, for being like, oh, you know, you're gonna cry over something stupid that happened in the past. Don't listen to them. If you are affected by even just hearing someone talk about it, do not watch this video, please. I'm not gonna go really... I'm probably going to go into detail, but not like really, really explicit details. So that's the thing. If you do not feel comfortable listening to me talk about abuse in any way, please stop watching this video. But at the very least, spread it around with my warnings of there is abuse in this. Okay. We're going to start off with a subject I don't know very much about, so I can get it right out of the way. Physical abuse is really, really horrible. If you are having issues in your relationships, whether it's with a lover, a friend, or even a parent, these situations exist. If you're having issues with some kind of relationship like that it doesn't feel right, like they're forcing you into having sex, rape, they're hurting you, they're beating you for whatever reason because you did something wrong. Now, I would never want to condole or allow people to hit their children. I grew up being spanked and smacked across the face when I just did something wrong. Now, my parents very rarely did that, only if I did something really bad. You know, and they didn't hurt me to the point where I was left with bruises or, you know, I'm not traumatized because of it, but there will be people who are. So be careful when you talk about stuff like that in general. But I grew up with that. You know, I'm fine for who I am today. I learned my lessons very quickly. Of course, now it's we're not allowed to do that anymore. You're allowed to like smack the back of your child's hand. You can't be too hard, of course. You know, little things to be like, hey, don't do that, if they're not listening to you verbally. Anyway, but there is definitely a point that a lot of people will cross the line, especially parents. That's like the first thing you know in your life is your parent. And when they start doing things that don't seem right, they're hitting you too hard, they're leaving bruises, they're breaking things, bones, I mean, you need to tell someone. I know that's a really, really hard thing for you to do, to be like, hey, my parent is hitting me, or my lover is hitting me. I know physical and emotional abuse are different in the sense that one's like people are hitting you or doing sexual things that you don't want. And verbal and emotional is they say things to you and control you and manipulate you that way without doing anything physical. I know they're different in that sense, but they're the same in the fact that they're abuse. But if something does not seem right in your relationship, and I'm not just saying for just abuse, it can be a lot of different things, but if you're not 100% certain, tell someone. Ask them, is this alright? Is this something you're supposed to do in a relationship? Is this normal? And if it is, they'll tell you, you're like, yeah, I mean, it kind of depends on your definition of normal. If everyone does it, that doesn't necessarily mean it's normal. Or right, I should say. You should ask them if it's right. And then to verbal and emotional abuse. This is different in the sense that they could do everything physically right. You don't want to have sex? Okay, we'll have sex later. That's fine. You don't want to make out right now? Okay, that's fine. When they're mad, they'll probably punch a wall. They're probably a little violent, but they won't hit you. Now, I know this on a personal level because this is what my ex did to me. I messed up in the beginning of our relationship. And this might seem a little hypocritical, but I don't really want to talk about that. I messed up. I admitted it. That's what mattered. He took it so badly. In the end, we realized we should have just broken up after I messed up. But he took it so badly that he manipulated my entire life and made me feel like everything was my fault. Everything. Even a lot of stuff that he did wrong. It was my fault. He manipulated me into dropping all of my friends because they just wanted us to break up. And of course, I was 18 at the time and he was 30 when we started dating. That should have been a red flag right there, but I thought I liked him. And because of that, I spent almost 2.5 years saying, I love him, there's nothing wrong, he's not doing anything wrong. When he went to drug rehab for the 3rd time, I finally started thinking, I don't think he's going to change. And I finally looked at that at 20 years old and said, he's been using me and abusing me. Maybe not physically, and maybe that's why I didn't see it. I knew growing up that emotional and verbal abuse were a thing. I knew they were a thing. Telling someone, wow, you suck, you're ugly, that's verbal abuse. Most people don't want to admit that and say, oh, it's just an opinion. No, it's verbal abuse. But I didn't recognize it when it started happening, because he had me thoroughly convinced that everything was my fault and I deserved this. I deserved how he was treating me. Please don't feel that way. If someone is making you feel like everything is your fault, when you're sitting there and you're saying, well, but they did this, it is their fault. If other people are around you saying you need to leave them, they are abusing you. Please listen to them. They know you. They know you wouldn't act like this. I was very quiet, I was very sheltered, I didn't talk to anyone unless I needed a ride to and from school, or not high school, massage school, or to work, or if I needed someone to take my shift. I never talked to anyone. I never hung out with anyone except for my ex, because he made me feel like that's all I could do. I hardly ever did anything I wanted to do because of him. I used all of my money on drugs for him. And it took me almost 2.5 years to realize my mistake. What if in that time he had gotten me pregnant and I was stuck with him? Not like stuck like I could break up with him, but I mean, he's the kind of person that would do everything they could to keep hold of their child. He may not want to see me anymore. Actually, he did. He tried to ask me out after he got out of rehab, and I said no. He was like, well, I tried. Like, okay, yeah, good for you. I said no because I didn't want to be with you anymore. He asked me while I was with my current boyfriend, by the way. Not like he was there, but I was already dating him at that point. And I was like, what is wrong with you? Anyway. But that's what they do. They make you seem, they make it feel like everything is your fault. Even if you are completely happy with somebody else, be very careful if you decide to go back and talk to him. I wanted to see if I could just end things quietly. He never talked to me again. He still messages me sometimes. But I tried to see if, if there's anything I could clear up to make him realize a lot of it was his fault. It didn't work and it completely backfired. And I was like, well, I regret that completely. I'm not trying to tell you don't. If you want to clear things up, make sure everything is known, make sure everything is out there, make sure they understand it's their fault too, although they may not understand, just be careful. Do not go to see them alone, because they will try to manipulate. Even if they don't really want you, if they're having trouble finding someone else to use, they'll convince you to come back to them. That's what they do. They're manipulating. Not necessarily smart. They could fail. And you could be like, well, that was stupid. If you're in an abusive relationship right now, please know that I am so sorry. And I want to help you. If you feel that something is wrong in your relationship and you're scared to tell anyone, go on Tumblr, go on Anon, and tell me. I mean, the most I can tell you is, if possible, get out of that situation. Call 911. Do whatever you can. Don't lie to people. Be like, oh, I fell down the stairs, or I hit the door. Don't make people think you're just clumsy. Especially if they know you're not clumsy, they're going to know something's wrong right away. So if you need to lie, like, in front of your boyfriend, the abusive party, and you need to tell them what's going on, lying might be the best way. If the manipulator can, like, be distracted, or I don't know, is kind of stupid, I don't know. But if they think you're lying to them, or trying to get help, I don't know. My entire point is, please be careful. Please, please, please be careful. Please. I do not want to see you get hurt any more than you already are. I don't want to see you get hurt at all. And I really want to help you. If there's any way I can help you, please let me know. I will do whatever I can, no matter who you are. I'll do whatever I can to help you. Alright. I'm sorry for that kind of emotional video. I just hope you take that to heart. Not to mention, for those of you who are not in an abusive relationship, but you see someone who is, or potentially is in it, or could potentially be in an abusive situation, stop it. Tell someone. Do something. Don't just sit there and look at that and go, I wish I could help them. Help them, then. My glasses are skewed, sorry. Help them, please. Don't just sit there and be like, oh, that sucks. You know what sucks? Is when they get really hurt, or they could potentially die. Just a little strong. Sorry. Anyway, please, please, please be careful. Please always remember that your gender is valid no matter what. And please just be careful, guys. Bye.